And welcome back to episode 20 of your favorite wrestling podcast, Suplex Biddies. Brought to you by Couch Guide Sports and sponsored by Exogun. With us, as always, the DJ, Diego Galvis, wrestling aficionado, Andrew Hunneman. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can see a unfamiliar face. And if you're listening to us, you're about to hear an unfamiliar voice. But 20 episodes in, we thought perfect time to have the first guest in the pod. Big shout out, CGS's own Mike Sullivan. Mike, thank you for joining us today.
What's up, Mike?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What up? Ready to talk some graphs? I'm pumped.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
That's what we do.
We
here.
love the
That's what we do
grabs here. We
Yes,
fucking
sir.
love the grabs.
We're all
Love
about
being
the grabs
grappled.
here. Diego, don't you
I
stop.
mean, who does?
Diego,
Here we go.
don't you take this show off the
Here
rails.
we go.
Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it, Galvis. Don't you do it. Again, we're brought to you by Couch Guide Sports. Make sure you use the internet one time. Check out all the blogs, especially Mike's, because he's here today. Diego does blogs. Andrew's just a podcast host. He doesn't have to worry about writing, nothing like that. It's fine. Make sure you check out all the other podcasts on the network. Just to name a couple, you got High Heat Fantasy Baseball. You got Small State Big Takes. You have the Yellow Card Podcast. You have the Couch Guy Sports Podcast. A plethora of others that are also being in the works, which we won't talk about right now because it has nothing to do with us. But there's some stuff behind the scenes within the network that we're excited about moving forward. And also our sponsor, Exogun, probably the best in percussion therapy. Make sure at checkout you use code CGS10 for 10% off. Comes with a charger and a carrying case, and literally it's a massage at a moment's notice. I have one, and it is probably one of the best things I've ever purchased.
I've used it also. Gonna buy one. Very, very good. I use it at the beach. That's like
You can
to the beach.
again, you can use it.
You play some football. You play some football on the beach. You pull a hammy, strain a groin. Excellent, baby.
Listen, you can use it at the beach. You can use it at the gym. You can use it while you're going for a walk. You can use it anywhere, and it'll help take care of anything that you need massage-wise. So let's dive in. Let's dive in this week, boys.
Let's do it.
Plethora of topics.
Another big week, huh? It's just
Yeah.
everything's going off the rails right now, man.
When wrestling's good, wrestling's good. Trust me.
We said this on the last episode when all these like returns happen. It's a beautiful time to be a wrestling fan, and I think we're just getting to the thick of it right now. So,
Yes, sir.
So let's dive in. We're gonna firstly we're gonna talk about Friday Night SmackDown.
Good. I didn't want to get mad yet, so that's good. Let's start.
No. We're gonna start with the A show of WWE, Friday Night SmackDown.
Yep.
Big episode. Sasha Banks came back. Health Bianca Belair looked like her and Bianca were friends again.
Gave her a big hug. Like, hey, we're friends. Yay.
And then Sasha Banks, just being classic Sasha Banks. I don't have friends. Boom. Put her in the bench statement.
Yeah.
Boss time.
Held the title. They're going to definitely fight at SummerSlam. That's going to be another great match. Can't wait to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Now they get a real full crowd. So like WrestleMania was the first. Now I don't know how many people that are that Vegas arena seats, but
a lot.
A lot. Okay. All right.
More than the Thunderdome. More than the
Good.
Thunderdome.
Yes.
Very good. Very good.
And then we also had the fake rumor on that we were going to see Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam for the title.
What a fake out, huh?
Yeah. Some of us were pleased. Others were like, why bring back Cena then? Created a little story where Finn Balor was giving his speech on how he was going to win back the title, never lost. Baron Corbin came out, took him out, was holding. He was about to sign. Then John Cena came out, laid him out, looked right at Roman Reigns, signed Cena, and then John at the top. And Roman literally looked like a heel that you sit there and you look at it and you're like, okay, I'm going to face a guy that I know I can beat. And then the guy you think you can't beat comes in and you're like, oh, shit.
He was just kind of sitting there like this. That bottom lip, like, motherfucker.
Yeah, he was doing it perfectly.
He was
just sitting there doing exactly what it is, where he's just like, what is this? Like,
yeah,
just
what are we
perfect,
doing?
Like, arrogant, like, heel sitting there, and John Cena is all like, oh, looking at the crowd, and Roman's just chilling. Just like, oh,
Yeah.
this guy.
He's like, you really want to do this, bro?
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Yeah,
That's what it looked
exactly.
like. And I love like this character that Roman has, and I think it's awesome. He's getting booed for the right reasons now.
Yep.
Not just because he was getting shoved down everybody's throat.
Mhm.
I love it for the Finn Balor. That I kind of the swerve threw me off, but I like that it's almost like it was like a tease, and now it's something that they can save down the line, as opposed to like wedging him in between. Like on like a Friday night SmackDown before SummerSlam, just to blow it off. Like I like that they're kind of saving that now. It's like, oh, you're gonna get this at some point,
right?
I like that a little bit.
I like that. I agree wholeheartedly. And can we just the one thing that I think, do you guys think Baron Corbin's kind of killing this? Like, look at me, I'm miserable and just I can't catch a break.
It's awesome.
Gimmick.
I feel bad
It's
for
good,
him
right?
sometimes.
I know, right? I almost felt bad for him when Kevin Owens saved him the other week, and then he just came out and was an asshole again. And it's like, we want to help you, bro, but you're just a dickhead, and he's so good at it.
I won't lie, and I think I think Diego can attest me to this. His hairline, just the way that it's so far back,
It's worse than mine.
Yeah, it literally looks like he plays that character in real life.
Yes,
it looks like he plays that character in real life. It's the best.
Yep,
agreed.
It's the absolute best.
He's just letting it grow back all shaggy too. It just looks like he's supposed to look like. Should he got the mustard on the shirt?
Yeah, he still has that. Like I like that. I wonder if him and Kevin Owens are gonna tag up or something like that. Like, I feel like maybe they laid the groundwork for that. I don't know. That'd be cool. I mean,
they should just call themselves. They should just call themselves the Dads. Like basically like D. Period A, period D, period S. And just come up with an acronym.
Yeah, exactly.
I want an acronym by the end of the show, Jones. All right, think about it.
Dads. Diego, any thoughts that you had from Friday night's festivities on SmackDown?
No, I mean, other than what you guys mentioned, not really. I mean, I'm excited to see Sasha Banks back. I know that we talked this way beforehand too. It's been rumored. It just needed to happen, and this time it's in front of a real audience as well. We saw the buzz that match got, which was wonderful. Just even in the Thunderdome, just imagine how lot of a pop that match is going to get at the Allegiant Arena in Las Vegas.
Yeah, she got a big pop when she came back.
Yeah, she did.
The Baron Corbin storyline is just hilarious all in itself together. I think that what Mike brought up earlier, him maybe potentially tagging up with Kevin Owens, is a good potential too, because he's been another character that's been extremely underdeveloped. I think that the guy has a huge amount of talent that's just been wasted in the wrong storylines. I mean, we wasted in this King Baron storyline that it was good for like the first 2 months, but after that, it was just like punch me in the face every time I see it.
It went like 2.5 years. It's like, what the fuck?
Right.
And then there was no tournament. Nakamura just won the crown. Like, what the?
Yeah,
like literally,
now, like
literally.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. Just right here.
After 2 months. After 2 months, it was like punch me in the face, and then after 2 months, after punch me in the face was like kick me in the temple, please, because at this point, like I don't want to watch this.
Please curb stomp me, Seth Rollins, right now. For real.
Yeah, exactly. But
Seth Rollins, yeah, I forgot about Seth Rollins.
But I think this is a funny character. I don't think it should be dragged more than 3 months, because it gets to a point where it's just like, dude, it's no longer funny. Like, cut it out, you know. But one thing that I do want to shout out to is a previous WWE, well, I should phrase it, a WWE superstar. Yesterday to the date was 25 years since WWE legend Kurt Angle won an Olympic medal with a broken fucking neck.
Freaking neck. I can't say F words on it.
Freaking Jesus.
It's American. It's
American.
For
the kids, Diego. Come on.
Oh, goodness gracious.
It's an American moment, and there is no better way to celebrate American
Dude,
moment.
I saw Sports Center tweet that yesterday. I was like, oh, let's go. Kurt Angle getting some props. It had like 30,000 likes. I was like,
yeah, like a real, because I mean, that's like a legitimate thing to happen. So
cool, gentlemen, them, like, this is the one thing that scares me though. 25 years ago, the dude had hair. Is this what our problem is going to be 25 years from now? We're not going to have any hair?
I mean, have you ever seen his rivalry with Edge from the 2000s? early 2000s.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It was starting to fade.
That was wonderful. That was a wonderful rivalry.
I mean, not for nothing, but Hunneman's forehead's sticking out more than a lot of things right now.
I know.
Hunneman's got like 10 more years of hair, and that's about it.
It's only because I put it back. If I go down here, it's down to like my fucking eyebrows. So we don't want that. I'm past my Mayday parade phase, I promise.
You sure? Doesn't look like that. But so real quick before we move on from SmackDown, I read a thing on Twitter earlier, and I, God forsaken, hope it's not true. Someone tweeted that I'm hearing that WWE wants SmackDown to move to 3 hours to compete with AEW Rampage.
Oh God, I fucking hope not.
So
why? What is the?
So
Go
for
ahead.
starters,
Sorry.
for starters, one, let's focus on getting that crapshoot on Monday down from 3 to 2 hours before we even think about expanding. Anyway,
Yep.
two, why the fuck would you do that if they're quote unquote not competition? Why the fuck are you going to expand another hour?
Every single time they say they're not competition, something else comes out where like, okay, well, they're actually kind of competition.
And three, pretty sure you can't do that on Fox. You know why? Because the local news is at 10 o'clock. You can't push the local news back, Vince. That's not how it works.
He could, but like,
No.
You can't start
they
it
do it. They do it
early.
when baseball's on, but like,
You know why they're doing that though, right? You know why they would be doing that though, right?
Or
It's-
which part?
It's Vince McMahon's hope for a saving grace that SmackDown is still relevant enough now that AEW on Friday is getting CM Punk and Daniel Bryan.
CM Punk.
There he is.
I mean,
It's that. Because
I
he
mean-
knows that CM Punk is going to drive a huge audience. Everyone's wanting him back. And Daniel Bryan is Daniel Bryan. He drives a huge audience.
True, but you know how you combat that? Just keep putting on good 2-hour shows. And
That's why people like SmackDown so much.
Exactly. No one likes this 3-hour thing. The
Nope.
3-hour thing on Raw is a death sentence. Like nobody, even if you have a bunch of good segments, you lose people after like 2 hours.
After 2 hours, yeah.
It's
So
always like the first
SmackDown is
hour does the
perfect.
best and it slowly deteriorates. And that's why they started to make the main event most of the time leading into the 10 p.m. hour. So
Yeah.
it's like 9:45 to 10:15 is the biggest angle of the show. And then they put something else at the end.
Yeah.
Because
I
they
think-
know.
Yeah, because they know people are going to fall off. Oh,
I think
for
for the
9:30, I'm old. What do you want me to do?
focus about the kids, Hubbard. Think about the kids. It's
The kids
PG
got to go to bed. All right.
Yeah.
WWE, the Red Sox are helping the kids eat. When they win, they get free food at the 99. What is WWE doing? Sleep deprivation, anxiety, and stupid product.
exactly.
Big difference.
You hit the nail on the head. So I don't.
Kids are getting
Anxiety.
fat because of the Red Sox, and now they're getting sleep deprived, and it's not okay.
Yeah, and it's not even like we're losing sleep for good things. Like I have to watch to see how Vince is going to actively screw up my favorite wrestlers. Like, we got Karrion Kross and he loses. We got Keith. We got all these things and just.
Oh,
Did I just hear?
Did
Did I just get triggered?
No, Mike. All right now. Couple minutes.
I just have so much anger towards
We'll
this
talk.
man.
Listen,
Vince
we'll
McMahon.
talk. We'll talk about why Monday night's the worst night of the week. But no. So for the 3 hour, when you're doing like an anniversary of Raw, the 3 hour event, cool. Because you have
special
stuff.
Yeah,
occasions.
something, yeah.
But now that you need quote unquote budget cuts and you're cutting all these wrestlers, why aren't you moving it down to 2 hours?
Yep.
Because you don't
Yep.
have the facility of wrestlers that you once did. And you don't have, if you're losing money because, you're putting on a shitty Raw performance, change the Raw performance. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
But the USA Network execs don't care because they fill a big gap for them. Like
The only
back in
thing
the day when Raw was 9 to 11, it was a big gap and it always filled it no matter what.
Mhm.
Move to 8 to 10. That's all you need to do. It's not that hard.
Not only that,
That's what
but
they did for SmackDown on the USA Network. And when SmackDown was on the USA Network on Tuesdays from 8 to 10, it was solid.
Oh, what
Monday-
an era!
Mondays,
SmackDown Live, man, what an era that was when
You
it first
don't-
happened.
Yeah.
Oh.
No,
You
that was
don't-
wild.
You don't need 3 hours of product for Monday Night Raw when it's probably the worst show that you have. Literally, in order, it goes SmackDown, NXT, Raw. That's the WWE show
Yeah.
right now. And then 205. Then 205 Live is somewhat scratching the surface because they have 4 guys to compete every week.
And at this point, you're just fighting against whatever you want to fight with. Because if you're really thinking about that angle that I just previously mentioned, think about just this past week. The ratings for SmackDown went down a little bit because of the Olympic competition. The Olympics themselves drew an audience of 10.5 million viewers while they were on. SmackDown in itself had about 1.9 for the first hour and then 1.8 for the second hour. That's a 0.5 drop. So if anything, like instead of focusing,
if you think about it, Sasha Banks wasn't advertised for the show, and John Cena, you didn't know if he was going to be there or not, so people decided they were going to tune into the Olympics. I hate wrestling people on Twitter.
I didn't know we had a special guest named Judy.
I hate it.
The IWC, you can't. The glass is pushing. You can't.
That was a perfect. That's exactly how that's how I picture they sound too. So that
yeah.
I thought that I was
word for
reading
word.
Twitter there for a second. I was like
95% of their comments. That's the voice.
Word for word, baby. Word for word. That's what we do here.
So the thing that we've suggested so many different times, I feel like, at least I think I have said it, and I think you've agreed with me. If you need to give yourself a little bit of extra time, start at 7:30 and go to 10. Why I don't get why they have to be the solid hours.
If you start need to.
Yeah.
You don't even need to.
I know. I agree.
All right, let's continue the anger here with WWE. Let's continue it because
my heart rate's already really high. Okay.
Bray Wyatt has officially been released from WWE. Now, this is something that Diego has talked about this in the show when we were talking.
Wait, can you repeat that one more time?
Diego, I got you. Don't you worry. When WWE did that first massive release of the superstars, Diego said, "Don't be surprised if Bray Wyatt's the next to go."
Yep.
I'll give him the credit where the credit was due. I did not think that this was going to happen, but at the same time, I'm not surprised. And unfortunately, Bray Wyatt is one of the best creative writers for himself that I've ever seen. He has, time in and time out, has come up with new characters that have been phenomenal, and WWE creative has fucked them up every time.
Yeah.
Can we shout out to Mickie James for her tweet that just put everything spot fucking on yesterday?
Oh my God.
I'll read it if you don't mind.
That was
a
people thought she was talking shit about Alexa Bliss too, and she was like, no. I'm just saying that they don't know how to handle this character, which clearly they don't.
Alexa Bliss had to make her Twitter private yesterday because everyone was going after her, blaming her for him getting released. It's people are ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's if anything, she was probably something that kept him there longer because Vince was like, oh, let's pair him with Alexa Bliss, and it's the guy girl dynamic that'll keep it around. And I don't know. I like them both together. So
me too. I did too.
I thought it was a really cool thing.
Tweet. Do you want me to share with the class?
I mean, I have it up as well. So
I got
you want to read it? Be my guest.
You talk all the time. I got you.
Okay,
so
you
WWE,
both talk all the time.
WWE.
Well, Diego, you don't speak up.
WWE's tweet says WWE has come to terms with on the release of Bray Wyatt, wishing the best in all of his future endeavors. And then Mickie James.
This is why you don't read.
I don't get to very often, I think what you meant to say was, thank you so much for coming up with such an incredible gimmick time and time again. One so cool and over, we really didn't know how to book it right. So we just gave it to someone else so we can still make all the money off of it and just let you go. And then it was a bunch of these and the mind explosion things. So basically she's saying that they have struggled for years to book this man's character, the Fiend. Incredible character, top merchandise seller, supernatural force, and just some of the things they've done, whether it's the Hell in a Cell with Seth Rollins or Goldberg in Saudi Arabia. How do you fuck it up? Don't book something so strong that no matter what you do, they can't lose. It's a supernatural being that literally looked like it couldn't feel pain. And then it got dropped with a fucking jackhammer from Grandpa Goldberg.
A bad jackhammer too.
Yeah, it wasn't even good. He can't even do it anymore.
I don't know. He can't. He can't do it. That's just it.
Yeah.
So real quick, before we really dive into this topic, because it hits the four of us really hard here. Mickie James's response to that afterwards was, "This isn't against Alexa. I love her. She's an incredible performer who is killing it in every role that she was given. She always does. But we as artists take every role we're giving and turn it into gold. They both did that. Like it or not, facts are facts. Sorry if that offends you. So again, not coming at Alexa Bliss here, coming at WWE Creative, because time in and time out, all they do is fuck up Bray Wyatt's character. When Bray Wyatt first came on the main roster, and he had the cult leader, you can call it, right? It was a slow build. He was very over, and he fucking loses to John Cena. And probably what could have been the biggest match of his career, he loses to John Cena.
Yep.
Then with the Fiend
at WrestleMania, don't forget.
At WrestleMania again, yep. Then with the Fiend's aspect as well, the Fiend was just this fucking great supernatural character, like Hunneman said. You fucked it up two reasons. This is how you fucked it up. The first one was the Hell in a Cell match that fucking ended in a disqualification. Since whenever has a Hell in a Cell match ended in a disqualification? First off, that's part one of it. The second part of it, it's when Mike's least favorite wrestler, Goldberg, came back. And you had Goldberg beat him because, in my character, I am like a superhero for the kids. I can't lose to this supernatural human being. Yeah, you can. If you can't, don't fucking
shut
work
your
with
mouth.
him. If you can't, don't work with him. That's Goldberg's issue. Is if it's not what's best for Goldberg doesn't care. Goldberg's for the kids. That's a load of bullshit. Goldberg's for whatever puts the most amount of money in his pocket. And for that, it's to have the title around his waist.
Well, you can still be for the kids and not bury your fastest rising star, allegedly at the time.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, he said he didn't want to lose it for his image and his persona itself in kayfabe, as they say. And then he ended up pulling out of WrestleMania because of COVID. So then all of that was for nothing.
No one cares about your persona anymore. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about you. In your horrible match with the Undertaker in Saudi, with your squashing of Bray Wyatt, nobody cares. Like you're just this big. You're better being remembered, Goldberg, not being in front of the TV anymore at all. If you want to come back for certain like special shows and like spear someone and do all that, great. That's awesome, man. Do that. That will always play. If you have Goldberg just come in and spear someone, that's great. I don't need to see your old ass wrestling, trying to lift people up when you can't, getting gassed out in your entrance. Like, I don't need to see these things. I don't need to see the boom, boom, you walking through the back. I don't care anymore. I don't care. Like, I don't need you to be champion.
The aura's gone. The aura is gone.
No, it's been gone. That's what, like, he got the pop when, like, he came back, but he's, like, I don't like Goldberg.
So I think he did a lot for the business, obviously. Very good gimmick. Had a couple good runs, but nowadays, we talked about this last week a little bit, where when he comes back, his matches are just these 5 to 8 minute fests of just finishing moves over and over and over again, spamming finishing moves. It's like when Lesnar hit 5 F5s on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania years ago. He just comes and he spears a bunch of people, maybe does a shoulder tackle into the corner, and maybe tackles someone through the barricade. Then he gets beat up for a couple minutes, hits someone with a jackhammer, and then wins. It's like it doesn't do anything for anybody.
At least when Lesnar does it, it's somewhat entertaining because Lesnar
he can bump.
Hasn't lost it. Well, he might have lost a step, but he can still just throw people around.
Yeah, exactly. I miss
Diego, your thoughts on the Bray Wyatt release in WWE?
I mean, as you mentioned, it just the way that WWE right now is going, there is no clear vision for the product itself in all brands of its industry. Number two, it's of no surprise whatsoever to me. I kind of picture that happening, as you mentioned it earlier, just because he disappeared for a long while. There was no other character that could have been built around the Fiend. What would have been the next character? The Devil? Like, how pointless of a name of a character would that have been? We saw
Super
that
Bray.
we saw that Braun Strowman had gotten released. And with Braun Strowman's release, and none of the other Bray Wyatt family members there anymore, one of them, which sadly passed away.
Luke Harper. Brody, I should say.
With that in mind, it's like that whole entire legacy in itself was done up in ashes for WWE. So at this point, it's like, do you give Bray Wyatt a chance to change his scenery, or do you give him a chance to return to WWE and give him a new character? But if you bring him back to WWE, you also have to negotiate in a deal of bringing back Braun Strowman, because you basically just killed the whole entire aspect of having that wonderful family working in WWE and creating a real good product for your brand. So at this point, it's like that was kind of the expectancy. All I know is, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there is Instagram story videos and Twitter videos all over the place of Braun Strowman continuing to stay afloat and stay fit. The dude looks even more jacked up than he is. With him and Bray Wyatt, like, now looking to tag out their story and bring it to a new horizon, I would expect that product to completely overblow in wherever they go, whether it's Fightful, whether it's AEW, whether it's New Japan, wherever they go, and just take over that company. Because I agree with you guys. I'm a Goldberg fan myself, and I agree that this storylines of him being brought back, it's just kind of pointless. I mean, with a Keith Lee, we agree that we agree that it's a little bit of overshadowing, but in the same token, we also agreed that Keith Lee just isn't there physically, and you need to bring back an extra pop to bring wrestling fans even more connected to the product, and that's why they brought Goldberg. I agree personally. The dude is just not there anymore. Like, he gets gassed out in his introduction. Guy drops a spear and it's already out of breath. Drops a jackhammer. What's next? At SummerSlam, the guy drops a jackhammer, has a heart attack, and dies on the ring. We don't need to see that.
We don't.
Nobody wants to see that.
No, we don't want that.
So I don't know. I think WWE in itself really needs to paint a vision that is clear, not only to its members, but also to its fans. Because right now there is no vision. There is no hope for the product. There's just a bunch of storylines just hoping for thin air and hoping that they stick somewhere. When you do that, it's not only a move of desperation for the hope of your company surviving through these tough times, but it's also a move that dictates that there is no clear next generation for leadership in this company. And that in itself is scary. I think we've talked about this too. We could expect WWE to finally be sold to another company.
I'm still waiting for it, man. It doesn't make sense otherwise why they're doing all this.
And I think if they sell it, I think the best place that they could sell it to is somebody like Fox or somebody like ESPN, somebody that can take that product and really run with it. So obviously, we're all lost for words here about Bray Wyatt's release from WWE, but there is two places obviously where no matter where he goes, his creative writing freedom, ability,
Bray Wyatt
having creative freedom
himself, is going to be incredible. It's honestly better for the wrestling industry that he is gone from WWE, just because they missed the ball so badly. He's going to go do something crazy.
Does WWE? I was thinking about this today. Do they own like the name Bray Wyatt? I don't know. I'm assuming they own like the name The Fiend.
Yeah.
So do they own Bray Wyatt, or what do they own?
They could own the name, but now with the release, some of the reads I have done is as soon as one of those people are released, the name is also released because it's no longer a trademark or a part of that organization. Therefore, it becomes a free agent.
That's what I thought too. But I remember they had the whole thing with Ryback, how like they had hits. Speaking of
Ryback, there is a thin building rumor that steroid super persona is coming back as well, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why?
I
used to love that.
Why don't you get Heidenreich 2.0 back?
Well, we don't need him. You're gonna get rid of Strowman and Bray Wyatt just to bring back Ryback. It's like, if that's the thing. You already have Ryback. Just be Goldberg.
We don't need Ryback, and I just want to. Just like my last like final thing on Bray Wyatt before we jump into like where he might go or whatever. It just sucks because you have someone who I was watching all the videos of him when he first created the character, when he was in NXT, he was doing like the Jim Jones type of cult thing where he was like, oh, like there was one promo where he insinuated that he burned his dad alive and like all this weird stuff. And then it went on to more of like really starting a cult. Then it went on to when he came up to WWE like proper, not NXT. He had, you know, the Wyatt family and everything. When the Wyatt family was standing across the ring from the Shield, the electricity was in the air. Everybody was pumped. And then what do? Chris, I know you brought it up. You lose to John Cena. Okay, you know what? I'll give you one mulligan on that because it's John Cena. Everybody was getting fed to him at that point. He should have won because that would have propelled him to be a superstar. But we have to remember, WWE doesn't want superstars anymore. They don't want people like John Cena, like The Rock, like Stone Cold. They want people they can control. So you have him lose to John Cena. Whatever. He does his thing, goes, it still stays in the fans' good graces and everything. He fights Undertaker. He should have wiped the floor with Undertaker. Maybe not wiped the floor with him, but he should have had a dominant showing there. New face of fear, all that stuff. Great, everything like that. Doesn't pan out. He then goes to fight, as we all know, Goldberg. I might be getting the timeline wrong, but my brain is so angry at Vince McMahon right now. He loses to Goldberg. Dumb. Everybody knows my thoughts on Goldberg. It is what it is. Diego, I know you like him, but I like him too. I don't need him to beat the Fiend.
No, but I agree with your thoughts though.
Non-prominent roles. Sorry.
Yeah, like he has that cool match with John Cena. I know some people didn't like it at WrestleMania, the whole the
Funhouse
thing. Yeah,
oh,
I thought it was cool. I thought it was awesome. Like the promos were cool because they were kind of like peeling back the layers a little bit. I thought that was something where if they wanted to keep like the Fiend and like you know the Firefly Funhouse going, they could have used these cinematic matches easily. And people would have. They would have adjusted. People would have liked it, depending on what they go with and everything. Like they could go all the way back and have it climax in I don't know, him versus Undertaker. If Undertaker ever wanted to come back and do one of those, like they could have done all these things. But Vince McMahon just doesn't think of this. So if something doesn't work immediately, he kicks it to the curb and oh no, hold on, I got to bring back people like John Cena and Undertaker again when the dude can barely walk. I got to bring back people like Edge to pop a rating. Edge is doing great right now. So he's not really a great thing, but he does. Vince McMahon doesn't understand. You bring back people like Goldberg, it's going to pop a rating real quick, and then it's all going to go back down because you're not building stars. You're not building anybody. You had Bray Wyatt with the Wyatt family. You killed his momentum. Okay, cool. You have him come back as the Fiend in this cool. The Firefly Funhouse was weird as shit when I first started seeing it, but I was like, this is different. This is cool. Like in my eyes, in like my wrestling eyes. And then you slowly just kill that. And it's just like the dude Vince McMahon doesn't seem to get it anymore. And I think this release has really shown everybody that, because I think everybody in the industry and most of the fans, regardless if you didn't love the Fiend character, you know Bray Wyatt is a wrestling genius. Everybody says this. Everybody's like, how do you drop the ball with him? It's different from releasing Braun Strowman and Aleister Black, because like still great characters, still great people, still good things. But Bray Wyatt to me is on a different level.
People,
I think he is too.
So the only retort I have for that, is people don't talk about how much of a genius Bray Wyatt is. I agree 100%. But also too, Aleister Black is probably one of the better creative minds when it comes to creating personas as well. And WWE has dropped the ball on both of them. Now you see Aleister Black, aka Malachi Black, now in AEW, and you've seen what he's done with that character already. It's
just feuded with the face of TNT.
He's got the eye that got hurt in WWE.
That's next week, by the way. For those, make sure you check out AEW next week, as we will get Cody versus Malachi Black, which is going to be unreal. But one thing
I was going to add just a quick tidbit on Mike's retort on Bray Wyatt. I think there is maybe about a 2 to 5% fault on Bray Wyatt as well. And the only reason I'm going to say this is his characters at all times stayed in the morbid sense of things. I think if we had seen a different segue of that morbidity and gone in a different route, I think we could have seen a very small potential, not a saving grace, but a very small potential for him to been able to then skyrocket as one of the top performers of WWE. Because if you stayed in that evil route the whole entire time, I mean, we knew the Bray Wyatt family was always with this evil sense of things, this dark sense of things.
Sister Abigail and all that.
You went to Sister Abigail. You went into the Fiend and all that stuff. I think if we had seen a different route of it, and we had seen more of him just being the Bray Wyatt, the athlete himself, I think there could have been a segue where he would have been one of the top guys in WWE to be like the center of attention rather than all this. I mean, we saw that in a way with Roman Reigns. I mean, with Roman Reigns in itself was always the Shield, and the Shield, and then the Shield only, until the Shield was taken apart by Triple H. Jesus Christ, I can't talk today.
Triple H, yeah.
Triple Edge as well. H just has the edge. That's all. We saw that with the Shield, where if it wasn't broken, that also could have been one of the top releases of WWE too, because it was just becoming stale at a point. We saw Seth Rollins take his role into a whole new different level. We saw Roman Reigns take it into a whole different level. And while Dean Ambrose was just tired of WWE and wanted to go elsewhere, where he's gone, he's taken to a whole different level. If he wasn't pissed off already with WWE, I think right now we would be talking about Dean Ambrose being one of the top guys in WWE as well. Mm-hmm. So I just think
let him be himself. You mean?
Yeah, I just think for Bray Wyatt,
psychotic maniac.
If he had a chance to have taken a different stance, that would have been a potential saving grace. But still, it doesn't cover the fact that WWE fucked up. That's
exactly.
What it is.
I think that's
Diego, the closest.
That's the thing. Is just Vince. It's just Vince McMahon. I think he's the thing that might have stopped that. So what you're saying, I agree. Yeah, maybe if he would have been a little bit more of just like a, not like a morbid character, but just like a dark.
Just focus on himself as the athlete. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. Bring back Husky Harris. Here, why not? Sorry, sorry, you go, man. Sorry, I just wanted to say, I agree.
The closest they got to that, where they kind of like showcased him a little bit more, almost in like a face role, would have been his tag team with Matt Hardy, which you saw Matt Hardy and him. Matt Hardy posted a gif of them hugging. I think it was at WrestleMania because they won the tag championships, if I'm not mistaken. And then slowly that was like the climax of that storyline. And
that was so cool too.
They won the titles. Then I'm pretty sure they lost him rather quickly, and then it just Matt Hardy, and it just went away.
I think so. Yeah. The crowd loved that. They were chanting "Thank you, Wyatt" and everything. And crowd loved that. Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, so let's segue out of this.
All right, so real quick, the last thing I'm going to say about this topic is that on Bray Wyatt's Instagram now, known as the Wyndham Rotunda, in his bio it says "Cult of Wyndham" coming soon. So. Whether that's in AEW, whether that's in New Japan, whether he becomes the next potential leader of the Dark Order, there's so many different avenues that he could go in. Yeah. And Hunneman is completely frozen on the screen. He's gone. We dropped him like a bad habit, I guess.
Sister out. Yep.
So, other things that we can talk about. Let's do. Well, we kind of did the Monday Night Raw aspect of it. We talked about SmackDown. Let's talk AEW real quick. So basically what happened was Hangman Page lost. Dark Order and Hangman Page lost to the Elite this past week. So now it looks like Hangman Page might not be getting a title shot. Maybe he is. Who knows? There he is.
He's back.
Wow. He's back like a bad habit.
Yep.
Andrew Hunneman, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause.
You can't hear you.
You're muted, buddy.
Come on,
you're muted. Round of applause. Unmute yourself. Attaboy. Learn how to use
dude.
computer.
I wish I recorded it. No, listen. My screen, my mic froze, and then Diego and Jones went black. I got no connection issue, no nothing.
Yeah, that's how it happens. When I do that, that's what I see. Trust me.
Well, so it's funny. It's funny that he goes and mentions that I went black, because honestly, this whole entire time that we've been recording, I've noticed so I've been out at Patriots training camp just real quick, right?
Oh, you're tan, bro.
The sun's been beaming on me, and I feel like, is my camera working correctly, or am I just that freaking dark?
You need a super bright
white. You make me look
bright LED light, like
extra white, right?
Make yourself.
I'm like, dude, I'm making Pauly D look really fucking white compared to my skin right now.
All right, so Hunneman, now that you're rejoining the chat,
I just don't know what happened there. I said you guys fucked it up, but
so
apparently it was
nope,
me.
it was you, 100%. Because we were recording, having a good time. So what you missed is on Bray Wyatt's Instagram bio. Now it says the Cult of Wyndham coming soon.
Okay, so he's gonna go by his real name probably.
Wyndham Rotunda. Yep.
Yeah.
And then we started talking about your boy, the Cowboy shit. They lost.
That's why I disconnected. I got mad that he lost.
Well, this was before you got disconnected, so I don't want to talk about it. So
logistics.
So the Elite beat Hangman Page in Dark Order. What's next for Kenny Omega? What's next for their big pay-per-view All Out coming in a little more than a month?
So the two different scenarios I've been seeing just from my, message boards and all that stuff that I like to keep up with is people think that this is just the climax leading into part 3 of the just storyline, I guess. So it's like the final act of this story between Hangman and Omega. And now everyone's starting to think that because they lost on Dynamite, which again, people who I was fully expecting them to lose via shenanigans because Kenny Omega hasn't been pinned in Lord knows how long. And every single thing the Elite's done the last couple weeks, months has all been interference based. So, how is the Dark Order and these guys just going to come out on top and pin the guy that hasn't been pinned in 6 months? Unlikely. And now people are starting to say that they might have this come to a head at Full Gear instead, because based on when that pay-per-view came the first time around, on their YouTube series, they were building it around Hangman. And they were saying he had to get ready for his Full Gear. And it was like a weight loss thing that they did, like a social media campaign. And Hangman was getting ready for his Full Gear to cut weight and all that stuff. So now they're thinking it's going to go to that. But at All Out, now you only have a month to build to your next contender for Omega. So it's like, they can make the gripe that they cheated and they deserve another chance. Maybe make Page run a gauntlet or whatever it is. I'd like to know what you guys think, because I still think you're going to get Omega Page at All Out. And personally, just because I want to fucking see it live and in person when we'll be there, Jones and myself. And what do you guys think? Do you think them waiting to push this to November is a smart move? Or I think you got to strike while the iron's hot. Like, have you seen the damn reactions he's been getting?
He's getting really, really good reactions. I think that maybe they're holding it off because a certain somebody is going to return or is going to show up to AEW. So maybe they don't want that to overshadow it.
Yeah.
So they're going to keep it they're eventually going to put the belt on Page, but maybe they just don't want it to be overshadowed by Punk. I don't know. That's the only thing
So that's all the other reports the past week or so have been that they're redoing their long-term plans because of Bryan and Punk allegedly coming in. So it's like, I hope they don't just nix the Hangman thing and just throw Punk in the main event. Like, the dude hasn't, as much as I'm ecstatic to see him back, they're teasing that it's going to be Darby versus Punk probably at the pay-per-view. That'll be his first match back. Darby will bump for him, make him look like $1 million, like he never missed a step. It's just, I don't know. Who can you sign up? Unless it's going to be someone from New Japan, like Jones was saying, to come out next week on Dynamite or whatever it is. It's just, there's no logical next contender, because if AEW wants to avoid being scrutinized like WWE always gets, don't toss an old star in your main event. Even though Punk is a big different outlier, don't get me wrong, like him in that title match would be incredible, but then what? You just
the only thought that I can think of, and this is completely outside of the box, and you're all probably gonna be like, dude, you're kicked off the podcast with this take, which is fine. But the only thing that I can think of is they're dragging this off until October, November story time.
Full Gear is usually in November,
yeah.
November 6th.
They're probably dragging this off because we all know, and I've talked about this before too, the WWE draft when they do it. We've seen how stagnant the AJ Styles line has been, especially with Omos. What if it's a mix where we see AJ Styles go back to NXT for a little bit and Adam Page gets finally his calling through WWE?
Huh?
You're confusing me here.
Yeah, what we're talking about two different promotions? What are we talking about?
I I want to see AJ Styles go back.
You think they're just gonna make a trade?
That's like a big brain. That's like a big what? Holy.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't quite know what you mean. So I'm gonna let you elaborate.
Just a
little
trade.
more.
Just a trade. Really, just a trade.
I mean, that'd be cool.
The AJ Styles line has been super stagnant, and with
Thank God
Omos,
him.
like with
Which is a
Omos,
shame because I like Styles.
I love AJ Styles,
Me
but
too.
right now they're just burning his down right now with Omos. That line has just been super stagnant. It's been pointless.
I'm at a loss for words of what you just said. I don't know what to say.
He's saying that's in a hypothetical scenario where WWE trades AJ Styles to AEW for Hangman, and then they can send Hangman to NXT and have him run train on everybody. I think, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
What?
That would be
0.0000001%
There's zero chances, but nowadays with WWE, we really don't know anything as to
the
what they're
only
doing.
way that'd be
Nothing.
a chance. I think is if Triple H was running it, because I don't think Vince even wants to acknowledge them. But that'd be wild. Imagine if you could do what they should do is just work together. Like that's what they should do. Like
It's gonna come down to a point where they're gonna need to work together. It's gonna come down to a point because WWE right now is losing everything that they have.
That's why it's going to happen, because WWE is going to eventually be like, oh, well, you know what? Listen, instead of doing this, why don't we just work together? It'd be better for both of us. Meanwhile, they're like, can we please work together because you're taking all of our
Everything that we ever had.
Your show is better. You are just better at almost everything. Like, who do you like? Come on, please.
I'm just
that'd be wild though. AJ said,
I can't believe you just came out and said that. I had this whole thing. I was ready to talk about how nervous I was, this, and this. And here you are just dropping a trade between two different promotions that probably don't even like each other.
They do not.
They do not.
Jones.
It's not a problem. They do not. But
if it
in this
were
day
to
and
be,
age,
if this is the timeline when that occurred, absolutely, dude, I'm all in.
in this day and age where wrestling is so exciting to watch, that is what you do.
I think you've been out in the sun way too long, and your brain's fried a little bit.
Yeah.
That's
what's going on?
Fine.
Drink some water. You're hot.
So, unfortunately, like Hunneman said, I think that is going to go into full gear, potentially. Yeah. So, who's going to face him?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Who the fuck do you slot in?
I don't know.
Hunneman, look me in my fucking face.
It's not going to be Okada, dude.
No,
if it's Okada, I'm going to freak out.
It's not going to be Okada. I'm not saying that. Look me in my fucking face. Nope.
Tetsuya Naito.
Nope.
Who else?
Look at my.
I'm fucking looking and say a name right now.
It's fucking staring us right in the face. We just don't want to say it out loud.
Wardlow.
Christian Cage.
Oh God.
I agreed 100%. Literally, unless you have him
punch me in the fucking face.
Unless you have him in the hood. Unless you have him and Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus team up in a 6-man tag, what else is he gonna fucking do?
Miro. I don't know.
Miro's gonna fight Orange Cassidy. That's already gonna happen. That's gonna be for the TNT title. Come on.
So I thought Christian Cage versus Omega is a great idea for a match, but that's something that AEW can easily get away with on a Dynamite.
I agree.
At this point, let's just leave it alone. AJ Styles gets traded for Adam Page. Let's just see what's
happening right now.
No, dude.
Everybody's going to veto that trade. No one is going to do that.
Also, by the way, Hunneman, remember last year when they talked about bringing a new title to AEW?
The 6-man tag?
There are rumors that there's going to be a tournament that's going to start, and we're going to have a potential 6-man tag championship match at.
They better get fucking moving on that because it's in a month.
They gotta get Hall and Nash right now. Like, go
Hall, Nash, and Hogan 6-man tag champs right now. Age 65 plus champs, dude. Let's go.
I'd rather throw up in my mouth, but also So
Christian Cage, I think, is a Jones. I didn't think of that. That is a very logical response, and I hate you.
Thank you. Now, I just completely had a blank and just thought about Bray Wyatt again, and I don't know why, and I hate myself for thinking this. But
I always think about Bray Wyatt.
The obsession is real.
How good would it be if Bray Wyatt is going to fight? Say he goes to New Japan, right? Say you do his cult versus Bullet Club.
Okay.
Oh, let's go. Oh, I want that cult to fight all the cults. All of them. I want you to take out the elite.
I forget the other New Japan facts, like Los Ignorala,
Yeah, whatever, something like that.
It's called.
But dude,
Death Triangle, everybody.
Just imagine Switchblade Jay White versus Bray Wyatt as his creative genius mind.
That'd be cool. I think he's gonna get like. Remember how do you guys ever remember reading about how over Vader was in Japan back in like the 80s and 90s? I think you're gonna get.
That was the first thing I saw yesterday. Was someone was like, he should go to New Japan because they do well with like bigger.
Him and Braun Strowman should just go to New Japan.
That's what they should. What he should do. He should get his sister Bray Wyatt. I forget her name. Bray Wyatt's sister, because she was a wrestler too.
Yep.
Yeah, like his actual. Get Braun Strowman. Start your little cult and everything, and just kind of go from there. Because like,
bring Bo Dallas too. Let's get into family.
I forgot about Bo Dallas.
Yeah, maybe
the whole family.
Maybe
Let's
Eric
go.
Redbeard can come hang out too.
Bring get them all, and then like I think like
Redbeard.
That's his name. Daddy.
Oh God, just do anything with him would be good. I don't think he'll be the leader of the Dark Order though, because I feel like they've said that like Brody was the leader. So like I don't
listen. All I can say is if they make that happen, right? You best believe it all out. He comes out and he fucking takes out Adam Page and he looks at the Dark Order. He puts that hand right up and they fucking look him dead in the face.
So I don't know if
what Brody wanted.
I have goosebumps. Can you? I don't know if you can see.
This is what Brody wanted.
So, I don't know if this is breaking news, but something from Wrestling Observer just came out, at least on one of the sites that I use. It says that Hangman is no longer scheduled to compete at All Out. That was the plan at one point, but plans change. From Dave Meltzer
himself. Is he hurt or something? If
he's hurt, that's like best case scenario right now.
Oh God, here we go.
Wait. Now this puts more fire into my previous take. AEW releases Iron Page because of injuries that they can't cover, and WWE buys them.
This is the trade, right? This is like in baseball when someone sits from the lineup and they're like, oh, he's going to be getting traded. That's why.
Yeah. All right. So that will conclude the final thought process behind Diego's trade between AEW and WWE.
But let me ask you this real quick, and this is in all seriousness. Come October time when the draft comes for WWE, do you see WWE being in more of a buying mode or in a selling mode?
Oh, you think they'll bring back a bunch of names?
No, I'm just being dead serious. Like, what do you see them doing? Do you see these releases to continue to happen and then just shrink down the fat and do whatever they need to do to become far more profitable? Or do you see them buying to create a bigger product?
No. I see them releasing. I think Sami Zayn might be one that's going to get released.
I think so too. Yeah,
I think
that's the next big name to look out for.
I think if they really want to stir things up, if they like, I don't even because you got to think if Bray Wyatt gets released, he was one of the top merch getters. He was a cool character. He was smart. He had like the lineage too with WWE. Kevin Owens might get released. Like who knows? Everybody I think is up for grabs.
That's it. I'm calling it out. Get the banners going. This is more Orlando and Diego. They're gonna release John Cena, Brock Lesnar, The Rock. None of them are coming back ever again. Cut it out. Knock it out.
I don't know, man. It's in a tough spot. I hope they sell the company soon so then they can stop with this.
No, I'm seriously wondering that because at this point, like, it seems like they're focusing on a certain age group to keep, so that way that they can. Is it
people that aren't born yet?
What age group? Because I don't know
people that aren't born yet because they.
No, but I mean they keep it in an age group like Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Obviously, they keep it. There's no way that they're letting them leave. I see Kevin Owens being kept because I think they genuinely like him.
I hope so. He's cool. I met him at a Dave and Buster's.
We saw Finn Balor come back to the main roster, which is important for that main roster to get a little bit of youth and boost there. We've seen what they've done with the women's division. They kept them at a certain age group and they all look healthy. They all look young and they
I need Becky back.
They all look like they're gonna be the next big
it'll happen at SummerSlam. Don't worry.
She's supposed to be going to SmackDown allegedly too. So
yeah, I don't know. I wonder if they in a way, I'm thinking that they have a little bit of buying mode activated come October, but I think we're gonna see a huge amount of releases between now and October to them be able to buy.
This is gonna be my final thought on the show, and then I'm not gonna talk until I do the outro. If they were smart, they would do exactly what they did with WCW and ECW and try and do this big fucking brand supremacy thing and just fucking get dominated and sit there and say to yourself, okay, what do we need to do to be better? And finally actually sit down and have the conversation. Because right now in Vince's boardroom, all you have is a bunch of yes men that say yes to everything that he says. There's nobody that's hitting him with like a no, we shouldn't be doing this because the product and this and this and this. They need something crazy to happen in order for them to seriously not be thinking that AEW is serious competition for them. I understand they're like, oh, they're just getting all the guys WWE didn't want. But look at the guys that the WWE want. They're not, for the majority, we have some solid overall competitors. But if we're looking at overall, there's just some talent that they haven't homegrown. And in AEW, they've homegrown some talent that are very, very marketable names now.
Yep.
So
Agreed.
I think they have to figure out the balance there, and they have to figure out, like, seriously, in October when they do the quote unquote the draft, which again is stupid because why would you do it right before Survivor Series and then you have Survivor Series with these new teams and this, that, and that, and it just doesn't make sense.
So yeah, why does Sasha Banks care about being on Team Raw when she just got drafted there a week ago?
Yeah. Like, fuck, man.
It used to be the best one was after WrestleMania because that was like the end of the year and that was the wrap up to all the big storylines. Then you had people switch brands, you start over, and that's your next year.
But now they don't even wrap up at WrestleMania anymore.
I know.
So it's like, what are we doing? It's
like,
just,
why?
I agree with that. Like WrestleMania used to be like the main event that every wrestling fan used to look up to. Now WrestleMania is more like it's a tradition. Let's look into something else now.
yeah,
I look forward to the Royal Rumble and the Money in the Bank. That's it. WrestleMania is just a bonus at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like I'll still watch WrestleMania, but it's gotten so bad to the point where like I'll have, because like my wife will watch it every once in a while too, but like she'll tune in for WrestleMania and things like big things. But sometimes I just feel embarrassed watching it with someone because I'm like, no, it's not normally this bad. But guess what? Guess what, friends? It is normally this bad. We need to just like the product is bad. Like there, it is a pile of shit with like random little flowers of like Roman Reigns and like Samoa Joe and like Karrion Kross before.
Oh, that's another thing we've got to talk about. Fuck.
Who?
Real quick.
Real quick. And then this will be the last thing we talk about on the show. Samoa Joe is finally able to compete. He's fighting Karrion Kross for the NXT title at NXT TakeOver 36, which is Sunday. August 22nd this year.
Yeah. So SummerSlam is Saturday, TakeOver is Sunday for whatever reason. They're mixing them, but I'm okay with SummerSlam being on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So,
do something with Vegas probably. They probably
wanted
to
But thoughts on that real quick?
I'm excited. I'm glad that Joe's obviously going to be back. I think the only thing that sucks is I thought Joe was going to be in that enforcer role for a little longer. Yeah. But I think because Vince has taken a bunch of talent, they were like, Triple H is like, hey, dude, you got to like clear this guy. Like, I need something.
Yeah.
Because you're taking Karrion Kross, Bronson Reed, probably Raquel Gonzalez, and all the other people that have been doing the tryout matches. So you're losing, what was that, 4 of your top? Just people out of like,
and they've already taken Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Knox as well.
Well, I don't even think, did they even show up on SmackDown this week, or were they just missing?
I think a lot of people were missing this week.
Because also speedy recovery to Natalia because she is now out for extended amount of time because she did something to her ankle. I saw a picture.
What they're going to do like a
retire the women's tag titles. Those things are as useless as the hardcore title.
You need them, but do a tournament or something.
No, see, you know when you needed them? You know when you needed them? You need them when you had the Iconics. You don't even have them anymore. You don't have a good women's tag team because you don't do it. You just throw women together.
Yeah, for no reason.
Ridiculous.
But yeah, I mean, they have Joe back, so that'll be good. I think it's pretty. We can all agree he's probably going to win.
Joe,
I fucking hope so.
Yeah,
even though it's not Kross makes the actual move.
Yeah,
that will clear.
I hope they bring Scarlett up with Kross because Kross and Scarlett.
Well, see, so here's now this is we're just getting into things that I realized that I wanted to talk about. I completely
Yeah, we'll do it.
Let's go, baby. Bounce into it.
Go ahead.
I'm ready to go today. Let's go.
Fuck. What is Monday Night Raw doing with Keith Lee? What the fuck? There's reports going on that you want to carry Cross to keep losing without Scarlett Bordeaux. Then you're going to bring her up and he was going to be this big dominant force. Then you fucking have him face Keith Lee, which worst case scenario for both of these fucking guys, by the way, on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
You made Keith Lee submit. What the fuck are you doing?
Two guys that
What are
really
you
couldn't
doing?
afford to lose. You put them in a match with a clean
I
finish.
hate to
What
see
are you
this.
doing?
He'll be one of the releases.
And I hate to see this.
He's gone.
I hope so, dude. He would be incredible literally anywhere else.
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
Everybody would be incredible anywhere else.
Yeah.
Every single talent on this roster would be better anywhere. They don't even need to be in a company. Just wrestle on YouTube and you'll get better view. Oh,
And I hate to say this too, but that was something I literally mentioned just this past episode. I literally mentioned watch what Keith Lee and Karen Cross to have a storyline developed where Karen Cross finally brings Scarlett to then become this major wrecking force in WWE. It's just
they're going to be a tag team, I bet. Watch, they're going to throw them together as a tag team.
Yep.
And it's going to be like when Sheamus and what's his name, Cesaro, they got into
That's right.
80 different matches, and then they got thrown together for no reason. And then
the bar
was awesome.
The bar.
But how it happened, it's just this was going to happen with Keith Lee and Cross, and then they're going to muddle around and have a match with. They're going to try to keep them heel.
It's
and
been
everyone's
annoying.
like,
It's been really annoying.
I can't watch Monday Night Raw anymore because I get frustrated. And
No,
it stinks
it's not-
because I
you
like
can't sit through it.
well, here's the thing. I like having Bobby Lashley as my champion, but at the same
I think
time
he's been a great champion.
But at the same time, I don't want to see him face Drew McIntyre 17 million times and then have him squash Kofi Kingston.
Oh,
When
don't
you
worry,
lose
he's
to
going to lose to
Xavier
Goldberg.
Woods.
Don't worry.
When you lose to Xavier Woods, but you squash Kofi, like what are we doing here?
I didn't
What do
hate
you have
that,
to deal with
but
that?
you could have picked somebody else to, bury, quote unquote.
So
But,
now here's my thing about, and I was thinking about this because Brock Lesnar said this in an interview. Why the fuck did champions lose non-title matches all the
I
time?
saw that too. Yep. Mm-hmm.
How does that make sense? If you think about it, I understand
always
the
do
K-Fab
it.
personify and stuff like that, but if you're a champion and you lose, you should lose the title. I don't care.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a tag team match, if you're a one-on-one, if you're in a one-on-one match, you should lose the title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Xavier Woods should be my world champion right now.
Yeah, he should be. He should. But instead, they have to face the champion for the title. You have to beat the champion, not for the title. But then, you've already seen the match. It's what? Who thinks like this?
I put too much mental. It's taking up too much mental space.
So
let's
now. Simmer down because it's the weekend.
Nope. Let's do the outro.
Yep, it's straight into the outro.
Because this will go on for another 2.5 hours, and I promise you that this is not the product that our fan base needs. Because there's going to be a lot of yelling, there's going to be a lot of name calling, and there's going to be a lot of things said that I can't take back. So,
all right, Trip.
with that being said, big thank you to Mike Sullivan for coming on with us this week.
Thank you, sir.
Hoping to get him back
back
on again soon.
Mm-hmm.
Big thanks to Couch Guy Sports again. Make sure you use the internet one time. Go check them out. Go check out all the blogs. Go check out all the articles. Go check out all the podcasts. Go check out everything within the network. Big thank you to Exogun again. Make sure when you check out Exogun, use code CGS10 for 10% off your purchase. For the host, Chris Jones, the DJ Diego Galvez, the wrestling aficionado Andrew Hunneman, and Killer Mike Sullivan. We will see you guys next week for episode 21 of the Suplex Biddies podcast.